Most frequent guest here on the program will join us in just a little bit, looking at the back page of the Post. We've got Holy Helmet. We'll be talking more about this, showing you guys the highlights the day before. Gase was on the back of the back pages all week after what was said about him earlier, and Will Selva's got more on Gase and the Jets out in the newsroom in Culver City.
That I do. Thanks, Kay. Well, the Gase power stance came, of course, to our attention from the observant eyes of one Kyle Brandt. When things are going well for the Jets, the right shoulder goes slightly up like that. It's like the shark fin you see sticking up from the water, as KB mentioned. You instantly hear the Jaws music in your head as you're gripped with fear. Well, the right shoulder hasn't really been popping up much this season, given their 2-7 record. The disappointing results have led to some speculation about his job, but owner Christopher Johnson came out and said Gase will be coaching the team next season. Well, Gase certainly appreciates those words of support.
Yeah, anytime you get support from ownership, the way that this staff's got supported, has not gone the way obviously we wanted. We got a lot of games left. Our job is to improve this team and go out and try to win games every week, and he is with us through every step with our communication with him, so he kind of knows what we've been trying to do, how we're trying to fix things that are wrong. So, to get his support and for him to kind of see what we're trying to do, that's an important step for us.
Well, Gase once upon a time coached running back Jay Ajayi in Miami before trading him to Philly, a place Ajayi is visiting coincidentally today, according to NFL Network and Saturday in Rappaport. Ajayi played for the Eagles in 2017 and 2018, but has been a free agent since March, but there haven't really been any takers. Ajayi suffering a torn ACL in last October's Eagles-Vikings game. Now to an update on Colin Kaepernick's scheduled workout tomorrow in Atlanta. Former head coach Hugh Jackson will be leading the drills, with former head coach Joe Philbin assisting. Now, so far, 11 teams have committed to attending. The Cardinals, Falcons, Browns, Broncos, Lions, Dolphins, Patriots, Giants, Jets, Bucks, and Redskins. Now, the league expects additional teams to commit. It will be interesting to see what that final number will be and the final number of teams that will be there in Atlanta for tomorrow's workout. For now, we send it to you, KB, with a guest that we love to have here on the show.
We really do. He's in a special club, Will. We are now joined by a player very near and dear to us. In addition to being a two-time Pro Bowler, he has the distinct honor of becoming one of just a few players to appear on Good Morning Football at least 5 times. He will join the likes Cam Jordan, Latavius Murray, and Adrian Amos. My friends, please welcome to the 5-episode club, Vikings tight end Kyle Rudolph. Hey! There he is. Good morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We always do, Kyle. We always do, and we always will, because in this case, we needed an excuse to show the one-handed catch one more time. It was incredible, and when asked to walk through the play from his vantage point, Stephon Diggs said he didn't have the best view, but he just saw you stick that big Mickey Mouse hand up there. Kyle, walk us through the play and tell us about the take that was online that Kirk Cousins was actually throwing the ball away.
Well, it's obviously a play that we practiced this week during goal line periods, and as the NFL goes all week in practice, it wasn't thrown to me one time. We were actually trying to get the ball to C.J. Ham, C.J. in the flat, and the defender took C.J. away right away, and I was kind of the outlet coming across the backside. And I actually still haven't asked Kirk if he was throwing the ball away. I'm just going to assume he was throwing it where only I could get it. So we're going to go with that. And, it was big for us to get a touchdown right away, get off to a fast start. And, I try to take pride in wherever the quarterback throws the ball, doing everything I can to catch it.
I love that you just brought up C.J. Ham, the perfect name for an NFL fullback, and a guy very much so underrated with what he's doing in that offense for Dalvin Cook and really making everything go. But in that game, he also hauled in another touchdown pass later, and you have scored 4 times in the last 4 games, and that matches your season total from last year. I want to know when it started clicking, why it's clicking right now between you and Kirk.
Well, I think, you go back and look at our team, and more specifically look at how myself and Kirk have now had a full season together, a full off season. One of the things that we started doing more this off season, and Kirk said it a couple of times publicly, was just trusting me in tighter spaces. When you get down there in the red zone, the field's condensed. You don't really have a whole lot of separation, but one of the things that I've prided myself in, being a former basketball player, going up and catching balls in traffic and just trying to score touchdowns to help our team win football games.
Kyle, you guys got a big win Sunday in Dallas, and there's a narrative in the media, sometimes on this show, from the person talking to you right now, that Kirk Cousins hasn't had the best primetime record. Gets the win in Dallas. You wake up Monday morning. Do you guys even acknowledge that and say, hey, let's keep him off and at bay? Or is this one of those things where, to you guys, it was just another game?
Well, I'd be lying if I told you that last Sunday was just another game. We knew, and it's not just Kirk, we hadn't played well as a team against teams with winning records on the road. We love playing at US Bank Stadium. We feel like we have one of the best home field advantages in the game, but we hadn't shown up on the road against good teams. And if we want to get to where we want to be in January, we have to beat good teams on the road. So this was a huge game for us to go down to Dallas and come home with a win. A couple weeks down the road, right out of the bye, we got to go to Seattle, and that's a tough place to go. And I think this game will help propel us and give us some momentum going up there in a couple weeks.
Kyle, now I'm going to go through a sequence of events. You guys started 2-2, a rough loss to the Bears. Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, they expressed frustration with Kirk in the offense. Kirk comes out as a quarterback and apologized. Some liked it, some didn't. And then some were starting to wonder, is this Vikings team going to implode? Instead, you guys rallied around. You won 5 of your next 6 games. How did you guys turn a negative situation or just negativity into a positive?
Well, I think the term negativity is thrown around, and, that's often the perception from the outside. But to be quite honest with you, it was just a bunch of guys that were frustrated about being 2-2. Guys wanted to do things to help this football team win. We had higher expectations coming into this season, and, then you rattle off 5 out of 6, and now nobody's frustrated anymore. So I think it had more to do with wins and losses than it did necessarily production. And when we're going out there and we're winning football games, guys in this locker room don't care if it means that we run the ball 35 or 40 times, or if we throw it 35 or 40 times. Whatever it takes to get a win on Sundays is the identity of this football team. And when we were sitting at 2-2, that's when frustrations start to come out, because we weren't winning football games and we weren't meeting expectations that we had set for ourselves.
Well said. Kyle, you are part of the 5-episode club. You're basically family here on Good Morning Football. And here at the breakfast table, the topic of discussion all morning has been what happened last night in those final seconds with Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph. What do you think about seeing that happen, seeing the swinging of the helmet at Mason Rudolph?
Well, I mentioned the game in Dallas last week, and, we got back about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm 30 years old now, so I need to get my sleep. And I wasn't up for the game last night, but I woke up this morning to unlimited mentions on my social media, obviously with the last name Rudolph. I was confused as the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and apparently I got into a fight last night during the game. So I immediately looked it up. It's unfortunate. That's not what our game's about. It's unfortunate that it happened on national TV for the whole world to see, because there's no place for that in our game.
There is no place for it, and just never overestimate the intelligence of Twitter, Kyle. I'm sorry you had to go through that. It's a terrible thing to wake up to in more ways than one. We joked in the open about how many times you've been on. You've been on so many times because you're a great dude, a great player, and you nail it every single time. Good luck this weekend, my man.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure is right. Thank you so much to Kyle Rudolph. Much more, of course, on the Browns and the Steelers. We've got all the implications we heard from the quarterbacks on both sides last night. Wild